What's up, everybody? God bless you. Hope you guys are having a good night. We are going to be talking to my friend Darci Hayford, and yeah, we're going to be talking about her book. We're going to bring her on in a second. Let me get the chat on the screen. I see Melanie is already here. What's up, Melanie? And yeah, without further ado, let's bring on Darci and her wonderful husband right next to her. Here we go.
I don't know.
There they are.
Hi.
What's up?
Hello.
We are live. What's up? Melanie's already here. What's up?
Hi, Melanie.
What's going on, everybody? Oh, I got to take care of something before we even do anything. Ready?
Okay.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Darci. Happy birthday to you. Sorry, I had to do it.
Thank you, Rick. That was great.
I had to do it.
Thank you. 63 years old.
I'm 54. Yeah, I had to think about that.
Oh, yeah.
But so yeah, we're here and we're gonna talk about your book, which we thought it was gonna be ready today, but now it's gonna be, when do we think? Another day or two?
I'm thinking tomorrow or at the latest Thursday, I think.
From what they've said and indicated, because they sent us an email saying, hey, it's up now, but that email says it can be up to 3 days before it will actually show that they've got product available. So we don't know. It could be any time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's not a big book. It's about 100 pages, but it's very intense. Very.
Yeah. When I did mine, I think they said the same thing. It was gonna be like up to 3 days, but I think it was like just a day.
Yeah.
So,
we don't know.
Yeah.
Is there gonna be a Kindle version or just paperback and hardcover?
Kindle.
There'll be a Kindle version.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I believe they said that just kind of automatically happens when they get it up there. I'm not sure, but
okay, yeah, that's good. Because for the people that like Kindle, like me,
right,
right,
because I can carry hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books on this little thing. It's literally
wow
on a phone. So if the world ever goes to crap, and as long as I have solar power to charge, still read books on this thing, you know. Yeah. But yes. So how does it feel to be an author now? I know
it feels good. It feels really good to have it done. And yeah, now I put author on my bio.
Yeah. And it's a lot of work. People don't, I mean, I don't want to scare anybody because I encourage everybody, listen, if you got a story, tell it. But
right.
definitely a lot of work, but it's worth it. I think it's definitely worth it for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as hard as people think it is, to be honest, you know. And there's people that can help, you know, there's people that can proofread and help. And, you know, I definitely helped as much as I could. Hey, Mama Sue's in the building. What's up? Speaking of helpers.
Hi, Sue. Hi, Sue.
So yeah, it's definitely a cool thing to be able to say, yes, I'm an author. I have a book, you know.
It feels really good. I have this sense of accomplishment that I've never had.
Shameless plug. Here's mine.
Yeah, I have one. A couple months ago, I ordered one of your books.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I have it right there in my dresser.
Okay, cool. That comment you can just ignore. That's like a bot. So anyway.
Wow, that's a long comment.
That's a bot. Yeah, just.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Linda, see you. What's up? It is showing on Amazon, not available. Yeah, we just saw that. Yeah, not available yet. But it does come up, so that's good. But yeah, hopefully a day or two. Yeah, so. But it's good, yeah. So more or less, just a synopsis. You want to kind of tell people what it's more or less about?
Yeah, it's about my life. It's about a lot of abuse I suffered at the hands of my parents and other people, like guys. And I had a real knack for picking abusive guys. And that's always fun. And what was I saying?
What your book's about?
Oh yeah, it's about my life and just all the trauma. And there's good parts of it. In the edit, when it got reviewed, it said really good things. I can't remember what, but and then that's pretty much it. It's just it's about how I when I was 12, I took Jesus in my heart. I think you were 12 too.
Yeah, same age. Yeah.
And then I went off the path when I became 18, and did all kinds of bad things. I could have died. I cheated death,
Mm.
thank God. And after my parents died, and it was just as bad as it was, they're still my parents, and I still kind of went nuts when mom died.
Mm.
And I went to Cincinnati where she lives, and we'd sit there and go to church on a Wednesday night and then head down to the karaoke bar on the river. So I kind of went off the path there. It was wild.
Yeah.
It just, yeah, grief is not fun.
Yeah, no. And if I
But
remember saying, like, you know what? You have an amazing story. Not that it was all good. Some, everybody's story is some good, some bad. But I think if somebody reads it and maybe they've gone through some of the similar things, it's going to help them feel not so alone, feel
right.
that they're so like a weirdo. No, other people have been through the same thing. So
Oh
that's
yeah, like Stormy O'Mardian. Maybe Sue knows who she is. Do you know who Stormy? Yeah, everybody knows Stormy. Well, I was having a bad day one day. I didn't know at that point I had bipolar 2, which is way better than bipolar 1. I just get down, and they've got me on good stuff though. Oh,
I have no idea. You started a story and I don't know what that story is. So, but what you were just saying about, people reading things and finding out that they're not the only one who's gone through something. I think one of the most common lies of the enemy is to get people to believe that what they're going through, no one else has gone through it or is going through it.
yeah.
And but right next to that, and this is another thing, is to get them to believe that the things that really are truly special and great talents and great attributes of their life, that the enemy gets them to believe that, you're that's just, everyone does that. No one has, and you're not special. And the fact is that many of us have special talents and abilities that are fairly unique to us.
Yeah.
And Satan tries to get you to believe that that's a nothing. And then the things that are like everyone else, he tries to get you to believe you're isolated and alone. And those are things that can be so damaging and shaping of how we face life.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. One time I was at home with my roommate, Heidi. She went to Papua New Guinea on a mission team, and I was home alone. And I started pulling my hair and smacking my face and just, going nutso. And they said that is common for survivors of abuse to do that. And I went, it's in the book, but yeah, I went and got help for that. Yeah.
You were talking about Stormy O'Mardian too. I think you were starting to say
Oh,
something.
yeah. And then my pastor, Jim Nelson, recommended her book, and I went and got it, and I read it in one day. I couldn't put it down. She went through so much stuff, and she talks about things most people can't, and so do I. And so I'm happy about that.
Yeah. When I worked at the Christian bookstore, I definitely remember we had her books for sale for sure. And she did
I
well.
bet. Yeah, she has a lot of them. She has one with Pastor Jack, too.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so yeah, for the older folks, Mark right there is the son of the famous back then Jack Hayford, who was the co-pastor of Paul and Jan Crouch from TBN. If you remember TBN from way back in the day, I mean, it still exists, but it's totally different now. But yeah, so when I talk to Darci, I feel almost like I'm talking to a celebrity a little bit in a way. Just saying.
Oh, well, thank you.
I will say, Rick, for younger folks, there's a lot of people who don't know his name, but the song Majesty, which of course is the most well-known song that he wrote, many people resonate to that who have no idea who he was otherwise.
Yeah, last week, Jason, because he does karaoke on Wednesdays as well as minister, and somebody said they wanted to sing Majesty, and I typed in the chat, I was like, oh, I know his daughter-in-law, the one who wrote that.
And were you able to get it? Because one time you tried and it said copyright something.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, copyright.
Yeah, so I can't do that one. Unless I find like a version that's like somebody did the music themselves. I think that then it won't be kind of caught by the YouTube or whatever's, that catch Like Hillsong songs, almost all of them I've got flagged. Copyright, copyright. You can't do Hillsong.
Oh boy. Yeah.
But if it's like somebody did the music themselves, then that usually goes through with no problem, which is interesting.
Mm.
But yeah. So yeah. So all right. So a book is basically your life, right? And
Yeah.
so we just
My life in 100 pages. Yeah.
yeah. And
And it's not all bad.
mhm.
But a lot of it is because it's the truth of how I grew up.
Right, right. And yeah, and it's tough. Like Mark was saying, like when you're abused, I was more or less mentally abused and physically abused. My dad would beat me like a man in a bar fight.
Oh
Definitely
gosh.
made me feel like and I say this even today. I said the reason I do the affirmations on my broadcasts every day, it's all the Bible says you are holy,
Uh-huh.
righteous, and all that stuff, is because even today, I still in the back of my mind, that little voice of my dad is like, you can't do anything right. Nothing, you're never gonna.
Oh,
So I have to fight that, you know. I
yeah.
do it all the time, but it's still way back there, and it still tries to pop out.
Right.
So yeah, we go through stuff, and you know, sometimes we gotta struggle through it, but
Yeah.
we read the Bible, so we know what God says about us is what's really really true. He made
Right.
us, you know. He
My
didn't.
mom used to get in my face. My mom was very manic depressive. She'd get in my face for no reason and go, "You're a very sick girl." And I'm like, well, "Thanks, Mom."
Mhm. Yeah, it's wild.
She was she was the sick one.
Yeah, and the crazy thing too was I had a brother, but he didn't get any of that. Like I was targeted
Oh,
for some reason. Like he was favored. And if I say that, like if he's watching this, I'm doubt it, but he'd probably be like, no, he was mean to me too. No, not like
oh,
me, not like to me,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But he was very, and I'll never forget one time. I think he had just beaten the both of us up for whatever reason. He was a drunk a lot of times. So when he was drunk, he didn't know what he was doing. And
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Why do you do this? I don't understand." Da, 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 da. And I was trying to reason with him a little bit. And he's like, "Oh, you're lucky. When my father hit me, I flew across the room and there was blood everywhere." And I'm like, "So you should be compassionate and understand what you're doing to me because you went through it too."
Right.
No,
Exactly.
doesn't get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's crazy because it's like people are when their parents are alcoholics, they're usually one or the other. They're either completely against it or they become alcoholics, which is
Right.
yeah.
I'm just reading something.
Yeah, I'll read it out. Mama Sue said, "Your
Oh,
dad's book, I'll See You in Heaven, was so powerful. I give it out to women who have lost children either through death or abortion. So helpful." Oh, that's awesome. How many books did he write? Do you know?
60.
I think it's about 80,
Oh,
but I'm
80.
not sure.
But a lot of those are Bible study books.
Yeah.
Well,
Remember those?
it depends. Yeah, there's a lot of books, smaller books that were done that were basically someone on staff took sermons or sermon series he did and did editing, and then he would go back over it and add a little here and there. But there were a good number of those books that were really just straight out books he wrote. I actually wrote one of the Spirit-Filled Life Guide books with him, and the way those. I mean, he was the general editor of the series, so his name was on the front cover, and there's a good number of those were written by like myself, my brother, and other folks, other staff members at the church, and folks that he knew. And most of those, it'll say Jack Hayford with, and have the person at least on the inside cover.
Yeah. I think in the Christian bookstore we had like a rack, and it was all those like kind of thinnish books, and they're like
Right,
Bible studies, basically like a book of the Bible or something. Yeah,
right,
Mhm.
right.
I definitely remember Jack Hayford's too. Yeah, definitely. Wow, that's a lot of books.
In the 80s, our church was 12,000 people.
Yeah, yeah.
He really built a mega church.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure did. In my book, I have a chapter on uh, spiritual abuse and church hurt.
That's a big topic.
And I'm thinking about writing a whole book about it. But
Yeah.
we'll see, because that was stressful. That was so stressful.
Well, it's a shame the way we treat each other at times as believers. And we're mentioning this, I think, when we were talking before about
Yeah.
how Christians will ostracize each other because they have a disagreement, maybe a doctrinal disagreement, maybe a political disagreement,
Oh boy.
anything else. We're called to be a family. And, I mean, if you look at the one thing Jesus prayed for us in John 17, he prayed for our unity.
Yes.
And I remain convinced that the biggest problem this world has today is probably our problem, that we do not get together as the family of God and show the world what the direction and what a family really should look like.
Yeah, exactly. Sue just wrote, that's what I did for ministers, took their sermons and turned them into books. That's cool.
Oh, neat.
That's really, really cool.
We had some church hurt. I mean, you're going to get it wherever you go. But certain people, usually the judgmental people, I've seen it happen. So-and-so has a past. So-and-so has a past. We all have a past.
Exactly.
It's like, and why do you care? Get out of my business.
Exactly.
But it can be hurtful, you know. People say stuff, and I'm sure I've not been 100% nice. But
we've all had our moments.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I'll never forget the quote from Gandhi. Not that I read a lot of Gandhi stuff, but what was unforgettable. And he said, I like your Christ, but as believers, not so much. I'm like, ooh, that's tough. That's tough. Because we act a fool sometimes, right? Jesus said that we would love each other. But if we love each other, that's how the world will know we're his disciples. Not love the world who doesn't know him. If we love each other, that's how the world will know we're his disciples. We can't even get that right.
Well, I always remind people, what Jesus said. If you love me, you'll keep my commandments. Love one another as I've loved you. And then he said that the hallmark of the church was it wasn't perfect doctrine. It was our love for each other.
Yeah.
And that's it. As a matter of fact, to my knowledge, I don't know any place where Jesus promised that his people would have stellar doctrine. He promised that they'd love one another, and he called them to be unified.
Right. Exactly.
And,
even the disciples, they didn't always agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Matt Martins from Canada, Winnipeg, Canada. Shalom to all tonight from Winnipeg, Canada. God bless you.
Oh, hello.
And Mama
he lived in Canada.
I actually am a dual citizen.
He has
Canadian citizen. So welcome, brother.
Yeah.
Good thing he didn't, obliterate his American, whatever it is.
Mama Sue has a question for you. She said, why did you finally decide to tell your story, Darci? You share so candidly, and I find that very brave.
Oh, thank you, Sue. I wanted to write this book in 2010, and I kept putting it off and putting it off. And then a family member who we all know came along and started saying stuff to Pastor Jack, and that ended that. But at the end, he promised he was going to write the foreword to my book because, things were good between us, and he died. So I didn't get the foreword.
Oh, well. What can you do?
Oh, I want to say something else. Abortion, if you repent from abortion, you can be forgiven.
Oh, yeah.
As long as you mean it and you don't do it again, God will forgive you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought there's a chapter on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's so many things that, like you said earlier, Rick, people go through and you don't realize other people are going through stuff too. And I just wanted to write my book to help people who have been through stuff. And I hope to tour a little bit and just help women understand who they are in Christ, how much he forgives us. He gives us chance after chance because he loves us.
Yep.
And he'll never let us go.
Yep.
I could go on and on, but yeah.
Yeah, I love the fact that you wrote it because it is going to give hope to people, and they're not going to feel like, oh, I'm not the only one. Because that is a big deal. I'll never forget. Jan Crouch, she went through this period of like super deep depression where she just could not do anything. She wasn't ministering. She wasn't doing a thing.
I remember that.
Yeah, and
She
then
walked out into the ocean. She was going to kill herself.
he was, yeah,
And thank
and
goodness she didn't. But
then yeah,
that's depression can do awful things.
yeah, and then she was at a church service. She didn't even wanna go. I think she said she was sitting in the back, and then she
Mm,
said for the first time in the longest time, she said she heard the voice of God. There was a girl in the front who was crying, and she, very clearly upset, and she, for the first
mhm.
time, heard God speak to her in a while, and he said, "I want you to go minister to her." She's like, "Me? I need
Yeah.
to do. I'm a mess." But he kept saying, "Go minister to her," and she did, and then she said that just released it. The depression just left.
Oh, wow.
Got totally better because when you give, you receive. That's a principle.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, that was a powerful thing for sure. I'll never forget that.
Mhm.
But yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
How did Mark and me meet? Do you want to do that one?
Sure, go for it.
At Church on the Way, Pastor Jack's church, but we weren't available, either of us.
Mhm.
actually, at the time we met, Darcy used to watch my youngest in the nursery,
Oh.
Mark
and
the second. Yeah.
yeah, and so uh, and I was one of the assistant pastors there, and so I knew her as just someone in the congregation. So it wasn't till years later that we met under other circumstances, and that's when we developed our relationship as it was. And there's a little blurb about that in the book,
Yeah.
that kind of tells a little bit of the things from her perspective back when we first met. But
Mhm.
that's a story in itself.
Get the book. Get the book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was now my mind's going blank. I was going to say something about what we were talking about earlier about people going through psychological issues and mental illness. And I remember because I've heard particular people who, it's like, well, if you've got your heart right with God, if you've got everything right with God, you won't have any of these, you won't have depression. It's like, well, look at the lives of biblical personalities that we revere.
Mhm.
I mean, David went through terrible times. Paul went through some pretty tough sledding. But the one thing, I went through a time where I went through what I would, when I was growing up, it's what they would have called a mental breakdown. I always described it as an emotional breakdown. And went through a period of time where things were really tough sledding. And I remember one day just feeling so unworthy about, it's like, why is it that I'm in a psychological state where that's affecting my health?
Mm.
And the Lord reminded me at that point that Jesus wept drops of blood. And they say that is one of the most severe physiological reactions to psychological stress.
Mhm.
My Lord knew his body responding to the psychological stresses that he faced.
Mhm.
And that was just such a release to me to know that if I'm having issues because of psychological pressures, because of mental things,
Mhm.
there's nothing that disqualifies me or nothing unworthy about it. Jesus went through the same thing.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. We got a couple more people that just joined. Carmen said, "Hi, Darcy and Rick and Darcy's husband. Congrats on the book." His name
Hi, Carmen. It's good
and
to
then
see you.
Deanna Williams says, "Hi, Darcy. Good to see you and Mark."
Deanna. Hi, Deanna. There is a chapter about my different husbands. Uh-oh, Cassia, don't do that. My dog is,
Laying here and in her sleep, she's pushing against the thing that's holding the phone in
Oh,
place.
she's like stretching out. But let's see. Yeah, I talk about my husbands, plural. Um, I talk,
I'm the good one.
he's the good one.
yeah.
Finally, praise God. Um, I got to tell you this, Rick and Carmen. after the big blowout with my ex-best friend, God put a friend in my life that I have known for 40 years. She was a court reporter like me. We went to court reporting school together. Now she's back in my life. So
Wow.
that's okay. You can't stick around in abusive relationships.
Yeah, it's not good.
You know, mental abuse, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I got hooked up with my friend Leslie. She lives in Burbank, California. I used to live in Sherman Oaks for like 20 years.
Mm.
LA, you know. Yeah. I mean, I liked it. I love the valley.
Mhm.
But it just got, I don't know. I love LA,
Nothing
but
is the same as what it was
right.
when we were there.
It is different. When I was down there for a funeral, I couldn't believe how big the valley it has just sprung up. I was looking at it like just building at Target, da 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 da, you know, and it didn't used to be like that.
Well, the corner of the valley that was always the the gravel pit and the concrete factories and like that is now shopping malls and residences. You know, it's amazing to watch how things grow over the years.
And they even have a Walmart in Pacoima, which is the valley.
Nice, nice.
Walmart.
Carmen said, haha, the good one. So glad to be here hanging out and listening. When one door closes, another friend walks back in. Amen. And then she also says, I love my town. I love Los Angeles. Yeah, she definitely.
Yeah, I miss it sometimes. I've been down there a few times,
Mhm.
and but now that I live in a smaller town on the border of another bigger town, this is enough for me. I
Mhm.
mean, I'll visit LA always, but and I love it. I miss it at times.
Yeah.
I don't miss the traffic or the gangs, but it's pretty, and I had a lot of friends down there. Still have a few.
Mhm. She said,
Well,
the beach is
you
where I
know,
live. I'm in Santa Monica, Carmen says.
What?
She
You
said,
said
the
something
beach
about
is where to live. I'm in Santa Monica, is what Carmen just said.
Oh wow, I love Santa Monica, Carmen. Love it. Is it still rent controlled? Because Santa Monica used to be rent controlled. They couldn't raise your rent. It was great.
Mm,
That's where I visited when I first came to LA, was Santa Monica.
nice.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say, Mark? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, living in a smaller town, and I've lived in when I was in Canada, I lived in Willingdon, Alberta. Good maps show it, better maps don't. Population about 300.
Wow.
And so I've lived in a really small town. We live in a town right now I think our population is, around 10,000, somewhere in there. Our quote metro area is about 70,000.
Mm.
And that incorporates we live just south of the Washington state border.
Mhm.
And just 3 miles north of the border is Walla Walla. And which, by the way, if you happen to be in town this Sunday, we're having a potluck and barbecue at the church.
And the name of the
Or-
church and the address, might as well give the whole thing.
Okay, Engel Chapel. It's on Oregon Highway 339, 3/8 of a mile south of the Washington state line. So we're in Oregon, Milton Freewater, Oregon.
Oh, so you're
And
right.
just across the line is Walla Walla, Washington. And I go to Planet Fitness there, and I get my hair done there and stuff like that.
You get your hair done.
After all that birthday cake, I need to go tomorrow.
Yeah. So today we go down to on the first Tuesday of each month. Our little congregation, whoever wants to, goes down at 2 p.m. to the local Dairy Queen, and we get a Sunday on a Tuesday. Though no one actually ever really gets a Sunday. We all get ice cream or whatever.
Right.
And so, because it's Darci's birthday and one of the other women in the church has her birthday on the same day, so I bought a cake
A
and
nice one, really good.
ordered a nice ice cream cake ahead of time, and we all sat there and ate the cake, or at least as much as we would.
Mhm.
And it's nice being out here. And of course, the other thing is, as you get older, you've seen enough of life. You don't need all the little exciting or excitement blurbs to happen. You just enjoy where you're at. I was
Sorry, I had to get something. Sorry.
okay. I
Oh,
was talking to a gentleman just this week who is retiring, and I said to him, the one thing that I've come to understand is that whatever we don't get around to here, we've got eternity.
Yeah.
Like when I'm feeling depressed, I just think, it's not going to be like this forever.
Right.
He's with me. He's going to help me through until the day he comes back.
That's the thing. When I was suicidal at 12 years old, that the devil constantly whispered in my ear, "It's always going to be like this. It's always going to be like
Oh, yeah.
this." So, and
That's,
I pretty
yeah.
much believed it, and I'm like, I can't live like this for the rest of my life. I'm not. I refuse. So I
Yeah.
really did want to kill myself. So yeah, it was
Wow.
bad. Carmen did answer you. She said yes, it's still rent controlled.
Oh, okay. Good. That's good. That's why you can't get a place in Santa Monica. Everybody wants to live there. I'd live in Santa Monica,
Mhm.
but that's not our time.
How long? Somebody was asking me. Did it take for you to write your book?
Not all that long, probably a few months.
It took it was a couple of months of the actual writing process, but understanding too that she mentioned she had thought she's going to write it 15 years ago. Well, she started and stopped so many times in between, and I find that part of that is if you have a book that's percolating in your heart, don't feel upset about the times that you thought you were going to get going and it didn't happen yet. Because what you're probably going to find out is by the time you get to it being done, that there's chapters that have got added that wouldn't have been there.
True.
And God knows the right timing. So let's trust him.
Yeah.
And that doesn't that's not licensed to be lazy, but that is a call to let him present the right timing.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I think with mine, I kind of had a skeleton more or less of the book. But then once I was like, all right, I'm doing this no matter what, do or die. I'm no distraction.
Right.
It was fast. I did it really, really fast,
Yeah.
actually. I just had to, pick a day and focus and boom. I
Yeah.
pretty much did it in a day. But again, I had a skeleton more or less already. And I used one of those vocal apps where you could talk into the computer and it talked for you. So that definitely made it really, really quick.
Right.
I'm getting questions in the background.
Oh.
Did Mark write the book? Is it co-written? I feel like I missed so much. Okay.
No, I did write a study guide with my dad years ago, and you'll find I'm getting ready to write some things, but no, Darci wrote the book. I periodically, it was actually only at the very end that I helped her, do some touch up things on at the end after I read through what she had written, and no, but she did it.
Yeah.
Another thing about my upbringing, I had panic attacks starting at 9 years old. Now, if you've ever had a panic attack, you know how awful it is. I get them still, but not as much. But writing the book took me back through all the stuff, that I went through and everything, starting it since I was in the bassinet when he took a gun and was going to shoot me dead when I was 2 months old. So, and I had a fear of tornadoes because I lived in the Midwest in Cincinnati. And when a tornado watch would be put up, my dad would tease me, and he thought it was really funny that I was afraid. Mom's popping me with Valium at 9 years old. And the panic attacks got worse when I was about 30. And some of it has to do with hormones and stuff. But it's now I have something I can take if one's coming on. So, but that's in my book too. There's a lot of info in there for only being a small book like that.
And let me tell you something. I just got come to Jesus moment about medicine. So mom, as many of you guys know, has dementia, and so I deal with her, make sure she doesn't do anything too crazy, which happens almost every day. But anyway, so I'm the one that sets up her medicines that she takes every day. Well, I remember one was about to run out, and I called the pharmacy and I called the doctor, and then I kind of forgot about it. Well, I forgot about it, and then it never got filled. Nobody got back to me. I'm like, what in the world? And then
Oh,
I forgot. So she was without this medicine for like 2 weeks, I think. And it didn't dawn on me. And then finally one week I was like, wait, something's wrong here. I think I'm missing something. It finally remembered because it
uh,
definitely was like a different looking pill than all the rest. And I was like, something's missing. And that 2 week period, oh, she was so mean to me. It was
oh,
it was another person. It was horrible. It was
that's
horrible.
from the dementia, huh?
And the day I got the medicine, from the first day, she was back to normal again. And I was like, it showed me the power that a medicine, because when we grew up, we were like, oh, psychologist, you're crazy. No, like,
Right, right. You're on medication. You must be a nut.
yeah.
Oh, well, maybe I am.
When we were young, that's how people looked at it. Now I'm like, oh no. If you need medicine, please take your medicine, especially if
Right.
there's oh yeah. So yeah,
You know,
don't be very
Rick,
harsh.
let me say this real quickly.
Yeah.
I would also encourage people to read the documentation about the medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mentioned the one thing I went through a number of years ago, and I discovered at one point that I was starting to feel worse again.
Mm.
And I thought to myself, well, as a matter of fact, I knew that the doctor's response to that was probably going to be, well, maybe we need to up your prescription. And I went and read the documentation and found out that this medicine can actually cause what I was taking it to get rid of.
Wow.
And so on my own, I tried cutting it in half just to see what happened for a few days and realized that things got better. And so somewhere, yeah.
I'll be right back, Rick.
And so what I was discovering was that actually I was getting better. This was something that I needed for a very short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
There's other people who will go through things that they really need medication that they will take for life.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be afraid of that. That's,
people judge people.
Well, I know people judge people, but the reality is, if you have a headache and you take aspirin and the aspirin makes it better, no one judges you for that because we're used to the aspirin.
Right.
But we have all kinds of things that there are medications that can help. And I'm not saying that medication, just run and take medicine. I mean, I try and make it a point that anytime I'm going to take medicine for anything, even things as simple as sometimes I'll rub my knees with Aspercream before I go to work, because I've noticed that with as many miles as I walk at work, that it ends up helping. Right. But I pray before I do it.
Mm-hmm.
Always put God first.
Yeah.
Always recognize, no matter what we're going through, it's His touch that ultimately makes the difference. Mm-hmm. Honey, you're only half on the screen.
Oh, so. Okay. Well,
she ran in and got a copy of her transcript.
I have the transcript of the book. Mm-hmm. And I'm just looking through to tell you things that might be important to know about the book. Right, the review is really good. I mean, like Sue said, I'm brave. People have told me that. Yeah. And they said, reading the book, you want to be on Darci's side, and you think everything's going to be good, and it wasn't. Mm-hmm. But it got better when I rededicated my life to Jesus. Mm-hmm. And I got a whole section in the book about forgiveness. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Carmen's got a comment talking about medication again. I think taking medication, especially when I was growing up, had a stigma. You are sick, you are weak, etc. I think that has changed. I agree.
Yeah.
I think we've learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My mom probably should have been on medication.
My dad, he had no idea. Like literally right before he died, he was diagnosed with bipolar. And I was like,
right.
Oh, wow.
Well, and an awful lot of alcoholics are masking a mental illness.
Yeah.
And that's what led them into that. And they drink to feel normal.
Mm, yeah.
And I mean, I was previously married to a woman who was unbeknownst to me, she was actually a closet alcoholic when we met.
Carrie.
Yes.
Mm.
And she was later diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Wow.
And but the diagnosis didn't come until after she stopped drinking,
Right.
because the drinking was masking it. And in her case, and I always credit her with this, that from the time she was diagnosed, she said, "That's me." She said, now I understand why I always felt different.
Mm-hmm.
And she was very willing, and particularly with schizophrenia, that's an awful hard thing, because such a high percentage of people with that disease end up, no, it's not me, it's you. You're just trying to make me feel like that, because it does have a lot of paranoia with it.
Well, and like for me, telling in my book, I talk about bipolar 2 disorder. And not everybody, but a lot of people find out that you're bipolar, even though mine's like the lower kind. There is a stigma. Carmen's right. There's a stigma. You know, I tell people I'm on meds, and oh my gosh, she's crazy or something.
Right.
I can show you crazy. No, I'm just kidding.
We got a bunch of comments. Mama Sue said, sometimes meds are what people need. Talk therapy is not enough. And meds do need to be tweaked, especially when it's for mental health issues. Melanie says, my mom was bipolar. She would not stay on her medication. That's unfortunate.
Ooh.
And Deanna Williams, I have to take medication for anxiety and depression. I have a chemical imbalance because of my father's abuse to me. I was 9 when they put me on meds. Yeah.
Yeah, I should have been put on meds at 9, Deanna. Deanna lives in Canada too.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Is my BFF Carmen still on?
I think she is probably. But yeah, I'm glad there's not such a stigma anymore, because, you know.
Not as much, yeah.
But
because a lot of people have mental illness.
Yes.
I was so shocked when they said, oh, yeah, we just realized finally your dad's bipolar. Just me knowing that, if I had known that before, it would change the way I reacted and stuff. Because I'm like, okay, it's not your jerk. There's something wrong, and that's why you're acting like. And I would have been more compassionate, you know. But I was just like, why are you so mean? Why are you such a jerk? And like, oh, there's something wrong. That's why, you know. I didn't know.
Right. Did he drink? Did you say?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he was masking the mental illness, big time.
Yeah, he would just flip on a dime, like good mood, then all of a sudden, oh, evil.
Yeah, I know people that flip on a dime, and I'm running down the street to get away from them. But I have a whole part in the book about forgive and be free, and because of all the hard things and the intense things, then I go into how we can forgive that and be free and be healthy. Sue, you're so right. If someone needs medication, they need to take it. God gives us good doctors, and I found one, and not Becca. And don't even
go there.
And I like the fact that
girl, I got you.
What?
Carmen said, Darci, I'm here, girl. I got you.
Oh, good.
Let me add,
I like Carmen.
Let me add this. If you've been diagnosed with a mental illness and the first medication they give you just doesn't work or doesn't feel right to you or anything like that, please know there is no area in medical science that more displays how individual each one of us are. And you can find one person for whom this medication works great, and the same, you know, and the next person with the same exact issue and the same exact need, and that medicine doesn't fit them. And it can take, I mean, I mentioned, you know, my wife who had schizophrenia. It took years before they finally really refined it to the place that she was really stable the vast majority of the time.
That was your first.
She was or wasn't?
Was.
Oh, that's good.
Your first wife, just to be clear, in case somebody came late.
my ex-wife, who
better be.
Yeah.
Um,
Before I married my perfect wife.
oh, yes. Thank
The
you.
right one. You found the right one. There you go.
Yeah.
And I'm looking in here, and you guys ready for this?
I don't
Ready?
know.
I was sex trafficked.
Hmm.
My dad always called me a whore and a slut, and he always told me I was going to be a whore. And a real nice guy. And I ended up meeting someone in LA, Hollywood, of course, Hollywood, and ended up in that. And I got out and I ran and I never looked back.
Thank God. Thank God you were able to get out because not everybody can.
I know. And, all of the cartels and all this stuff going on with kids, you know, it's really, the statistics are alarming. There's like, I have it written down, it's in the book. It's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot.
Mama Sue earlier said, yes, Mark, alcoholism can be a person self-medicating. Yep. And Carmen said, what a great point, Mark. Such an interesting point that people don't understand. Not all medication reacts the same to everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing is when you have a mental illness, sometimes you have to go through medication change. And
Mhm.
I've had that about a month ago. They upped it. And I'm like, oh, no, I can't do this. And I
Mhm.
was sick in bed. So I called and I told the guy or the girl, don't say anything. And
I wasn't. I'm good at being silent, honey. Go ahead. The medication change did not work, and we went relatively back to where things were before. I think you added a different medication that you've been on at one point in the past, and
that's right.
kind of helped out. So, yes, there's times where you can be on a good mix and they try and get you on a better mix and it's not a better mix. And, so it's just, you need patience.
Yeah.
I just remembered something that's in the book. My dad, one night, he had an argument with our neighbor about a tree house in the backyard on the line of his backyard and our backyard. And the next morning, I had to go to the orthodontist, so Dad was going to take me. We're pulling out of the driveway. Oh, my mother came up to me that morning and said, "Smell this. I think Jack has." My dad's name's Jack too. I think Jack has done something. She made me smell this knife. It smelled like paint. So we're backing out of the driveway, and I look at the neighbor's house, and Dad had thrown a whole thing of paint on their garage and their house and their car. Then he took black spray paint and did all that with it on their house. So I start crying, right? Because I know what my mom had said, and I start crying. He just backhanded me to where I was like he didn't want me crying over some stupid thing that he did. I forgave him, but gee.
Yeah. Yeah. Mama Sue just said, I was on meds for a short while after my husband died. It helped me so much, not just for the grief, but a lot of bad stuff that I went through years before. The meds helped me to finally talk. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is Sue.
Yeah. It's really, really good. Thank God for that. I was going to say something and now I lost it. I hate
Oh,
that.
I do that. It comes with my age. Today's my birthday.
Oh, yeah, we sang to you. I just remember.
Yes, that was so good.
I remember this was years ago. The dementia for my mom was not that bad yet. I don't even think my niece was living here yet. She couldn't have been. Because she lived here as she went to nursing school. And then when she graduated, she left. But I lived upstairs. So it's a totally separate apartment, completely separate. There's not stairs you can go inside. You have to live outside of the house. So it's completely separate.
Oh, wow.
And then I was going to go to, hold on, Darcy. Carmen says, Darcy, should we buy the book from Amazon or from your website? I want to support you best.
Thank you. Well,
Amazon.
We talked about this because
we have a surprise.
For anyone who's watching this, we're going to do a special deal where we'll not charge shipping, which normally we charge the price and a couple of bucks for shipping. We're going to cut $3 off of the price and not charge shipping.
We're taking 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay.
Well, whatever you want to do, honey. But if she's saying 5 and not charging shipping, that's fine with me.
Okay, but what's the total? Like 19?
Well, we came.
No.
It's $23.95 on Amazon for the hardback,
Right.
and so it would be $18.95 to come down 5, and no shipping along with that.
But so, I thought we'd take it to
take it to wherever you want it.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Through Amazon, which is still reviewing the book, and it's going to be up when they are done, you can get a hardback for $23.99. I want to give everybody that's in here the hardback for $15, and I'll pay for the shipping. So if you DM me, Carmen, do you do Messenger? I don't do it very often, but yeah, if you pre-order, and it'll be here in a couple weeks. Everybody that's in here, just remind me.
She will sign it for you.
Oh, stop.
She'll sign it for you. You'll get a signed hardbound copy for less than you can get the softbound, the paperback.
Well, the paperback's $19.99. The reason it seems like a little bit more is because the publisher feels like with my story is going to sell. So I had to kind of go with that. But I can have specials, Yeah. So we're going to give anybody in here that wants it $15, including shipping, and a hardback.
Carmen just, she wrote a few things in Spanish. Feliz cumpleaños, chica, which means happy birthday.
Oh, muchas gracias.
And then she says, does she not know I'm bougie? She says, I'll buy it from Amazon. And then she said, it's
Does she not know what?
I'm bougie. Bougie's like, high class kind of.
Oh, I knew that. I knew that. That's why I like you, Carmen. I want to be your friend.
But, yeah, it's definitely on Amazon, but it's not quite ready yet. But we're hoping in a day or two it'll be available to purchase.
And like I said, just DM me. I know Deanna. She got an early pre-order. I will get the box of books, they're saying, in a couple weeks. So it's up to you guys, but we're running the special.
And that's the thing. We've got a box of books. From our perspective, that box is already paid for for us. So that's why, that's part of how we're able to even do a special deal on them, is that, so.
Carmen, yo habla español poquito.
Poquito.
Did you understand that?
Yeah.
My Spanish, you should see me when we go to Mexico. By the way, we're going on New Year's Eve back to Cancun for the third time. But that'll be a fun New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
But
Deanna said, we already mailed our check before this live. And Mama Sue said, you're proof, Darci, that when we say Jesus saves, we're not just talking about spiritual salvation, but saving from the hurts and pains and self-destructive behaviors we have. I'm not sure what that last part's supposed to say. But yeah.
I was self-destructive for so long. Oh, Deanna, I'll DM you and we'll get that fixed. So what was I saying? Oh, I was self-destructive for years. Because, like you said, that recording in your head that your parents, and I forgave them and I love them, but it took a while,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took a while for me to forgive my dad, but I eventually did.
Did you? That's good.
Yeah. So what else we got here? So you're going to hear about her life story, what she went through. Oh, wow. Carmen just said I bought it on Amazon. It will arrive August 12th. I'm so excited.
Oh my God, Carmen, thank you. I didn't know it was on. Oh my God.
Evidently
happy birthday to me.
Yes, I just refreshed the page and now you can buy it from there. Yep, it's available.
Thank you, Carmen.
There it is.
I'm so excited. This is the best birthday present I've ever had. I want this thing to sell. I want to help people. I want to go on tours and help people, like at Joyce Meyer's church.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, well, we'll have to see. She might not, and she might. So
I'm not sure if you knew this about Carmen, but she actually also wrote a book that was about her childhood. And she's in the process of writing a second one now, too.
Oh, good. Good.
Mama Sue said, how do I get the deal you're offering? Just DM you for the ordering details. And then Carmen said, of course, happy to support, and I'll read it and review it on there. Yes.
Thank
please
you.
leave a review on the Amazon site after you read the book. Well, obviously read the book.
Carmen, you're such a good person. You said you get a good vibe off me. I get a good vibe off you too. I told Rick, I like her.
Yeah.
I like her a lot. So
yeah, definitely leave a review. That helps. Definitely.
oh yeah. Thank you, Carmen. I can't believe it's finally up. I'm so happy.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday to me.
Yeah. While we were live. That's awesome.
I know. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
And I talk about repentance and sanctification.
Mm-hmm.
I almost didn't get that out. Oh, my mother and I got in a fight. And I was 26 visiting home from school in LA. I went to school on Beverly Boulevard near downtown LA, Tommy's Burgers. I know Carmen knows all those places. And Mom and I got in a big fight. And so she was crazy that day. She got me on the floor and she had my neck. She was going to kill me. And I could feel the air coming out of me, like, but not in. So I had to physically get her off of me. And boy, I didn't forgive myself for that for a long time. Because I had to she put me in jail. And then she goes to the judge and says, oh, she has PMS and she comes from a dysfunctional family, Your Honor. And she smooth talked that female judge and she dismissed the case. And I heard the prosecutor saying, doesn't she need psychiatric help? And the judge is like, get out. Wow. So, yeah, Mom and I, it was pretty bad. It was. Oh, and another thing I talk about in the book is generational curses. Mm-hmm. My dad, I would be at the fridge getting something out, just minding my business, and he would come up to me and scream in my ear the word death. Death. And I was like, that used to freak me out. In fact, that went into my adulthood as far as things I needed healed of. But I talk about how these curses need to be broken and only Jesus and God can break them. Right, honey?
Yes.
So let's see. What else?
Mama Sue said she found it on Amazon. She goes on Amazon for $19.99. Is that the paperback?
That's the paperback, yeah. Mm-hmm. I worked at a restaurant in San Gabriel, California, which is the San Gabriel Valley. And it was called Charlie Brown's Steakhouse. And it was really upper, class and all that. Me and the girls who waitress decided we were going to drink before our shift in the locker room.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. That didn't work out too well for me. I had too much. And when I went to the customer's table to take their order and I had to repeat it back, I was talking gibberish. I had to leave. My ex had to come get me. I mean, can you imagine you're in a restaurant and the waitress comes up and she's smashed? But that was my way, of dealing. I was still in a lot of pain and unhealed, so to speak, and, but, my mom, one time when I was like, I don't know, 4, my mom, it was Easter Eve, and my mom didn't know where my dad was, and she was getting mad. And we went in the car to find him, and sure enough, we find him with some woman that scooted over practically in his lap. So they pulled over, Mom and me, and my sister Lisa pulled over. Mom beat the heck out of her. And we sat there and watched it. Then she took her shoe off. She's beating her with her shoe. And I'm 4 years old going, what? Oh, boy. And there's much more in the book we haven't covered. There, I let it rip in the book. I do. I let it all out. And I think that's a good thing because it all goes back to what you and Mark were saying. It's going to help other people who think they're alone because there's a lot of people hurting. And I'm retired. I'm at a time in my life where I can do things. I can go on a book tour. I can, because I'm retired, thank goodness. And yeah, and I'm 63 today, going on 40. Going on 40, thanks. But there's a lot more in the book that I haven't discussed because there's just too much. Even though it's not the hugest book, there's lots of info in it and things, that happened.
Carmen's got another question. Did Darci like the process of writing? Did she handwrite, type? Did she use audio? Curious about the writing process for her.
Okay, well, at first I was typing. I typed 200 words a minute with no errors. That's how I became a court reporter. I'm proud of that. um, and then I did the thing where you talk into it, and what's it called, Dragon or
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's a voice app.
Mhm.
And so I typed, and I did the voice application, and then I typed more to fix corrections and add a few things. I typed them in.
Mhm.
How about you, Carmen? How are you doing it?
If I'm not mistaken, I think she handwrites everything. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
wow. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was mostly audio. Again, I had the skeleton that was handwritten, but then once I got into it, I just kind of did audio, and then I just went back and revised, fixed, adjusted stuff. But yeah, the computer did typing mostly for me, so that made it a lot easier and faster. So.
Oh, yeah. Typing is okay for me, but the voice app thing was getting on my nerves. It was like not spacing properly, and I was like, what? So I went back to typing, and that's okay because I type like a maniac. I'm really fast. I don't mean to brag or anything, but
good though.
Yeah. So I went back to typing, and when I sent my first few chapters to the editing people, they found a lot of stuff. And then after that, there was hardly anything. I guess I just messed up on the first page a lot.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Carmen responded, handwrite, then type it in, then give to my editor, then give to my brother, then back to another editor. I hate the process.
Oh yeah. I'm not it was not easy. It's I had to relive a lot of things, and I do have PTSD, and sometimes I get triggered, but you know, I start praying because I can feel it coming on.
You know, I'm looking to I've got a book that I'm going to write that is in no wise serious. Okay. And actually the title of the book is a long short story, The True History of the Dachshund as I Made It Up. And so this is a book that actually I promised my dad years ago that I would put this down on paper. And so that one I plan on probably using more the voice app thing, talking it out, then taking the transcript from that and editing, and in the computer I'll be adding, and because I know from history that the way I talk and the way it needs to be written are not going to be the same.
Well, my voice thing sometimes picks up my Midwestern twang, and it'll give me different words because it thinks I'm saying something else.
So yeah, so you know, I would imagine that I'll have to do a considerable editing, adding, and refining after I've spoken it in.
Yeah.
And then Carmen says, I love writing. I don't like the editing and putting things in order. And she says, it's not messing up. It's part of the process. Art is messy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But like I said, there's a lot more in the book. And when you put it together and read the whole thing, it's pretty good. I mean, Sue said it best. I was brave because it's pretty hard to put it all out there. You know, there'll always be haters, but I don't care.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, ultimately, if we're helping people, then it's worth dealing with the haters.
Right.
Right. I can't believe the book went in the broadcast.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Carmen was the one that let us know.
What?
And Carmen was the one that let us know. I wouldn't have even thought.
I know. Yep.
Very cool.
But you guys that want the discount, don't forget to DM me your address, and I'll
just DM you, and we'll give you the information how to get us, how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you can't get a hold of them, get a hold of me, and then I'll pass it on to them or whatever.
Right. Okay. That sounds good.
If there's any issue. So yeah. So very cool. I'm excited it's released finally. Yes.
I know. On my birthday. That's a trip.
Yeah. Do you Carmen said, I think this was the first hardcover I've ever purchased. Ooh.
Oh, it's a hardcover.
Nice. You got the hardcover.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yay. Thank you, Carmen.
Do you have any ideas or plans to write another book about whatever? I know
Um,
obviously said he's going to eventually, but
yeah. There's a book I want to write, but I have to think a lot. Well, don't say anything.
Well, if I know what she's talking about, because we've talked about this, and it's probably one we'll write together about church hurt.
Church hurt and spiritual abuse.
Yeah. And
because there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
Right, honey?
Yeah. And I think between the two of us, you know, folks who don't know me, I've you know, pastored for, this year is 40 years.
Wow.
That's a lot.
And
Wow.
and so I've got a lot of history and done a lot of counseling and a lot of working with people in that time, and of course then had all those years in the church. So you see the abuses that go on, the mistakes, the failures. I always like to point out that you know, Jesus said, hey, it's the sick who need the doctor, and you find a lot of really sick people in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good place for them to be, but that doesn't mean that, you know, let's face it, an operating room gets awfully messy.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of times that you'll find stuff happening in the church that wasn't healthy, wasn't perfect, wasn't, you know, wasn't what you wanted it to be. And I will say this for those who are listening, sometimes that's a call to us to be the ones who bring Jesus' life in a greater way and a more balanced way into the situation, rather than being upset that it's not perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because God put you there for a reason, and the reason probably wasn't to complain about what's happening.
Right.
So,
when he gave me my birthday card today, it said "My perfect wife."
Wow.
yeah, and then there's 3 cards in there, okay?
Yeah, the dogs and
No, the 3 cards in there, if they added up to 63. There was the 2-year-old birthday card.
Yeah.
To remind us of the time when I said, oh my goodness, I've fallen in love with a 2-year-old because of the way she was acting at one particular moment.
I ran away. We were in Santa Barbara, where I lived for 5 years and hung out for like 2, so 7 years. We were in Santa Barbara, and I said something. Don't even say it.
I don't know what it was.
And I ran. And here I am, 50 years old, and I'm running, and he's chasing me. He's like, oh, I married a 2-year-old.
And then there was the 11-year-old card. I had to make them add up to her birthday. So the 11-year-old card was, and this is true, there's times where she'll turn and look at me, and I swear, you're looking at a little kid. Mm-hmm. Not that she's acting like a kid, but she can look so incredibly young at times. Reminds me of the pictures of her when she was around that age. And then there was the 50-year-old card, which I simply said, 50 is generally the golden year. You know, we talk about the golden anniversary. So this is
but I'm 63 today.
Well,
I can't believe
but that's why I had the 3 cards that add up to 63.
Right.
So this is our golden years together.
Yes, and, we'll have our golden years together.
Carmen says, wow, okay, I'm intrigued. It's rare to hear a pastor be so honest, even a former pastor. Preach, Mark.
Oh, thanks, Carmen.
I'll never forget my ex-wife, and this is before I knew her. She went to this church, and so where she lived, let's just say it wasn't very upscale. I'm trying to be nice. But this church was in an area that was like, you know, upscale, bougie. And she walked in there, and she had like a black leather jacket, and she didn't look like everybody else there because they were like, you know, dressed to the nines, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And this woman turned to her and she goes, oh, you must be from that city where she comes from. And she just looked at her. She was like, I can't believe she just said that to me. Got up, walked out, and never went back.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's stupid things like that people say. Like,
yeah,
it's dumb, and you don't realize the damage you're doing.
You know, there are Christians who will judge you, like me, who's bipolar 2, and I take meds. They'll judge you for taking meds. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, you don't have enough faith in God. You shouldn't take that medication. That is the most insane thing I've ever heard.
Right.
But people say it. Huh?
But you take aspirin, no problem. That's okay.
Well, right. and you know, you grew up in Pentecostal background. A lot of folks, we believe strongly in healing. Yeah. Matter of fact, I've said to those of us in a Pentecostal setting that that we need to recognize that where we preach most strongly the power, the active power of God available today to radically change your life is where the people who most radically need their lives changed end up going. Mm-hmm. It's great, but like I said before, the operating room gets messy.
Yeah.
But, you know, you find people who, you know, you got to have faith. And, you know, if you don't get healed, it's your lack of faith.
I know. I can't stand that.
Yet they come in wearing dentures and glasses and
blood pressure,
you know, they're hearing aids. And, but you're not the one, you're the one not having faith, which, by the way, I will point out that I've pretty much become a believer in this concept. And, you know, people can debate it, but when the strongest area in scripture where you see you know, this didn't happen because of their lack of faith was when Jesus went back to Nazareth. And it says he could do no great miracles because of their lack of faith. And I believe that the real issue of the lack of faith was they wouldn't ask him for what they needed. Mm-hmm. Because of who he was, they wouldn't ask. The greatest statement of faith is when I come to God and pray and say, God, here's what I need, because I'm acknowledging right then, God, you have the power and ability to meet my need. Mm-hmm. And that is a step of faith. And so don't let someone ever tell you it's because of your lack of faith.
Yeah.
If you're asking for it, you're already showing faith. And I love the man who says to Jesus, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. Mm-hmm. Father, I come to you for everything I need, including the ability to see and receive what you have for me. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, get off the bandwagon of you don't have enough faith when you don't get something, because there's people who are filled with faith who didn't seem to get what they thought they wanted. God's got a better plan than what I think I want.
Mm-hmm. I have one more thing to cover before we go. I got one more thing. I talk about I was a love addict and a money addict. Money was my addiction, and so was, quote, love, but not the right kind. And like,
shopping?
It's very,
Does that mean shopping?
Oh, I bought a Mercedes that I couldn't afford, but I bought it anyway because my core reporting firm put down 10 grand on it. So I'm like, I got a Mercedes. I couldn't afford that payment. It was $950 a month for my car payment.
And that was a long time ago.
And that was a long time ago. We lived in Mississippi when Hurricane Katrina came. And after she blew through, we stayed and worked for the Salvation Army and all that. And then Eric driving me crazy. Then we left Mississippi, came out to Pacifica, California, 9 miles south of San Fran. Beautiful place. But I was shopping and I was taking Josh out and getting everything he wanted. And we flew to New York to go shopping. And my ex was like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. But that comes with a chemical imbalance. It just does. Yeah, but I've grown out of that, thank goodness, or we'd be in trouble. But I ordered clothes and what else did I get? Just a lot of stuff I couldn't afford, because sometimes when you're manic in a high state, you don't care how much something is. Yeah. So that's been 19 years ago. So I've worked really hard through that time to not be a shopping addict, a love addict, you know, not the right kind of love. Well, I got the right kind of love now. Right, honey?
I've seen QVC addicts, and I'm like, why are you buying this junk? You don't need that. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's an addiction.
It really is. I would get just this high from buying stuff, a natural high. Mm-hmm. But I don't act like that now, thank goodness. I was probably about 40 something, and now I'm 63, so it's been a while.
Mhm.
But it
You,
was hard because I got myself in debt.
you know, we've talked quite a bit about mental illness issues, and there's something that Darci just mentioned that I think many times is important for people to hear, especially when you start hearing about people and suicide. When you deal with bipolar people, they don't tend to commit suicide because they're depressed.
Mm.
They are more apt to do things out of place when they're in a manic state.
Mhm.
And so, and I've seen people, oh, well, we need to, so and so's feeling suicidal. We need to talk and pray for their depression. They may not be feeling depressed at all,
Mm.
but it's when they're manic that they tend to do things, because in a manic state, you don't recognize the repercussions of
Mm.
what you're doing. And the repercussions can just seem absolutely, nothing.
Mhm.
And so they will often do things that they regret later, or are regrettable actions. So I just wanted to mention that, because I've seen people many times deal with that, and you want to recognize that it's not necessarily always a depression that leads people to thoughts of suicide.
Mm. Yeah. Carmen's got a great question. She said,
Oh, yeah?
Is life good now?"
Who, for me?
For both of you, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is.
Carmen, I was thinking about, with Darci doing her memoir autobiography, I was thinking the other day about, if I were to write one right now, what I would call it. And I would call it My Trip to Heaven.
Oh,
And it's because, it doesn't mean every day is wonderful, but I love where we're at. I love where God has us. And
I love where we live. I love our house. I The people for the most part are nice. There's always going to be some people that aren't very nice,
Right.
but that's because we live in a
well,
crazy and broken world.
yeah, and it's not quote the perfect life. I mean, I have to work full time as a custodian to support pastoring a small church,
Mhm.
and so I work a lot,
He works a lot.
and it keeps me in shape. Praise God.
Yeah, I
but
have to go to Planet
but
Fitness.
it's not heaven because everything seems to be so easy. It's heaven because God's in the middle of it,
Mm.
and I'm happy with what he's, with where he's brought me, and I'm satisfied with following the path he has for me.
Mhm.
And it's, when we get to the place that we stop trying to worry about, when we stop worrying about what we want,
Mhm.
and focus on the fact that my life is supposed to be about giving glory to the Father,
Mm.
and my life is supposed to be living out Galatians 2:20. I'm crucified with Christ. The life I now live is Jesus living through me.
Mm.
And if he takes me places that I didn't think I wanted to go, and if I end up living in a place that I never thought I was going to end up,
Here.
yeah. And but you know what? Jesus is there.
Yeah.
Jesus is in it. And that is so freeing and satisfying.
I know we weren't going to talk about my son, but I will say this. He has bipolar and he won't take meds. So it's really fun dealing with him. Not. He's mad at me right now. Won't talk to me for a few years now because I can't condone this group he's in. I mean, yeah, it's to keep people off drugs, but it's a heavy metal group. He's got an X on his face, a tattoo, and he's really into this hardcore metal. And just because I don't like it, he got all mad. Well, there's other reasons too, but we won't go there.
Well, we'll definitely keep on praying for him. Carmen said, "That's lovely. I'm so happy for both of you. I'm looking forward to reading and learning. What a lovely blessing. Thank you for sharing your story and your life to help others." Amen.
Oh,
Oh, thank you,
Carmen,
Carmen.
I love you. You're my new BFF. So I think people are gonna, as hard as it is, I have to keep telling myself I did this because God told me to do it, and He'll handle the sales.
Mhm.
He'll handle all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. If it listen, this is what I think this way. Even if it helps one person, it's still worth it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It is.
Really.
Oh, there's another one.
And hey, Tony D's in the building. What's up, Tony? I remember there's a verse, and I'm gonna super paraphrase it, but I think Paul said, and I'm paraphrasing, this is not how it's written, but whether I'm broke or whether I'm rich, I found a way to be content in no matter what circumstance I'm in.
That's
Right.
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 That's right.
I've learned how to be abased, and I've learned how to abound.
Mhm.
And I'm not one of those people that I'll write all the hard and horrible stuff and then not be healed. I am healed, but it was hard. Writing it was hard.
Yeah.
I already said that. It does trigger some
Mhm.
PTSD issues. But I'm with you, Rick. If it helps one person,
Yeah.
which I think it's going to help more than one, but even if it's one, it's so worth it.
Yeah,
So worth it.
definitely.
Yeah.
I think so. So many hurting people in the world, and they need to
Yeah.
they're not alone.
Yeah. Iran is attacking Israel.
Mm,
That's not good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
But that's a whole other subject.
Well, we just need to be, I said a moment ago, where Jesus has us, and we just need to keep putting it in his hands.
mhm. Yep.
If my dog were awake, I'd show you him, but he's sound asleep.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny to me. Carmen said, "Smash that like button, everyone."
All right. All right.
Are you sharing this on your social media too? Did it ask you to do that when you first signed into the?
I think it did. And if not, I'll get it on there though, for sure.
Yeah, you can share the YouTube link. It's probably the easiest because everybody has YouTube, so for sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Definitely. So it is.
Oh, good.
It
Come
is.
here, Barney.
Come here.
I can show you Barney now. Come here.
How many pets do you have?
We have 2 dogs and 4 cats.
That's an army.
I want another puppy, but
poor guy. He's just waking up. I want to point out something because I put a big picture of him up. Look over here.
look over there.
I put a picture of him up on the screen at church and said, "This is the face I want because you can't look at it without seeing the cross." You see that cross right
on
in his face.
He's tired. He's exhausted.
He's so cute.
Well, this has been a great live. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so glad.
Yeah. When Carmen said she got it, I was like, wow. Because I even started getting scared that they were going to think it was too much, when they review it. Oh no. But it all worked out. And I'm very grateful to God because it was, even though it's a small book, it was hard work. You know that, Rick. It's hard.
Plus, just reliving it again. You're just things that you don't think about, and now you're having to relive it because you have to write it down. So it's tough. It's not easy.
Yeah.
For sure. Definitely. So it's out, guys. You can go to Amazon, look it up. If you put in Scapegoat and Darci, I think that's all you need. Just put on those 2 words in the search in Amazon, and it should come up for you.
And I go by, even though I have Lingenfelser Hayford, I just go by Hayford.
Yeah. So
my other name's too long.
If you have any trouble finding it, let us know. We'll send you a link.
Yeah.
No big deal. It's easy. So, but this has been awesome. I'm so glad the book came out while we were live. That's really cool. I know.
I know, because I was thinking it was going to come tomorrow. So that's really cool. And thank you for doing this live with us, Rick.
Of course, my pleasure. Definitely. So
it's always nice talking to you.
Yeah, you too. We've been how many years we've been talking now? It's been
7.
Really that long? Wow.
Since 2017.
You sure was that? I thought it was longer than that.
It was in 17 when we moved here, and I met him shortly after on Periscope.
Yeah, Periscope.
Those were the days, weren't they?
Were the days. Carmen said it's not about how many pages, it's about the quality and story. Thanks for the live.
Thank you, Carmen.
That's awesome. Me and Carmen come on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. If you want to check us out then. Shameless plug.
I'll be there, and I won't share my ex-best friend's name. I was just all wound up, Carmen. I was like, and then it came out. I said something about going crazy on her AS. Yeah. And then I said something like her name, and Carmen's like, anybody can read this or listen to this when we're gone. And I thought, that's all I need is to get you know who mad at me again. My ex best friend, because she. Anyway, thank goodness that that's over, and I'm in touch with my girlfriend in Burbank that I've known 40 years. So
that's awesome. Linda says,
yeah,
congratulations and keep being blessed, everyone, and have a great night.
thank you, Rick.
Carmen said, I was protecting you.
I know you were. And I was telling Rick earlier, I appreciated that because I was in my own little, oh, you know, she did this, she did that. I'm going to go crazy on her, you know? And it was like, I didn't even mean it. I was just all wound up about it. You can tell I get wound up even when I talk about it.
Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you, Carmen.
Yeah. See the puppies getting up to 11 over there. That's so
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Rick. We appreciate it.
Thank you much, and God bless you all. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for getting the book.
And the link below, it's been there the whole time. Darci Hayford, Darci with an I, darcihayford.com.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Michael Bublé says, Bubbles. It's Bublé, the picture of is that Robin Williams back there? No.
Oh my gosh.
Robin Williams actually died because of the same dementia my mom has, the Lewy body dementia. Yeah.
Right.
Really sad.
And he was depressed about it and just took off. That was sad. Yeah. Somebody that's so funny and makes everybody laugh and a good actor. Yeah. And you think everything's great with them, and sometimes things aren't.
Just goes to show you never know.
You never know.
You never know what goes on.
Just a smile they say just a smile can brighten someone's day, and it's the truth.
Yeah.
We have a lot of seniors in our church, and I just love them all.
Yep. Carmen says, good night. Congrats again. And Michael,
thank you.
Yeah, that was very sad. Yeah, it was very sad.
Bye, Carmen. Bye, Deanna. Bye, Sue. Bye, Melanie.
Thank you.
Bye, anybody I forgot.
Okay.
Did I say Carmen? Bye, Carmen.
Deanna, Melanie. We said Melanie, right?
Yeah, Sue.
Sue, Tony D came in.
Oh.
Scrolling back, make sure we got everybody. I think we did. Oh, Matt Martin's from Canada.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Hey, Matt.
My brother, Matt.
Yeah. And then you said Sue. Yeah. I think we covered everybody. And if you're watching a replay, leave a comment. You know, that's a cool thing too. Leave comments. So
God bless you all.
I love you guys. I hope you guys have
we love you too. We'll see you later.
Much success. Hope you
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael's asking, Rick, is your mom still at the house? She's asleep right now. And Melanie, bye. All right, guys. I'll see you soon. I'm on at 6 p.m. every day except Saturday, 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely check us out. And again, I'll be on with Carmen on Thursdays, every Thursday.
Yay. I'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. Okay. So
I'll be there.
Everybody, you guys have a blessed night, and we'll catch you another time. Get the book, and don't forget to leave a review if you get the book.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Michael. God bless you too. God bless you too. All right, so Darci, don't disappear. Even though it looks like it's over, don't disappear. All right, we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys another time. Get the book and let us know what you thought of it. All right, we're out. We'll see.
Bye, you guys. Love you.